Okay, thank you. All right. So we were discussing now here the specific, right? Sorry. Being specific, and then once we be specific, how it will be leading to identify effective and ineffective performance. So you can see if behaviors results what we get, it should be very much clear what we do, right? It should be very much clear what we do, and it should be the right behavior. We are not expecting now the later on the next lessons in another lesson we are learning about what is the right behavior, right conduct, and the poor performance and all. So you would be having a more understanding on once we come into that session, what is the right behavior and the poor performance and all. And results. We don't want employees who are not really working well, right? So we need employees to work well and to go with right decisions. And then provide ability to identify employees with various levels of performance. So where what you want to focus on, provide ability to identify employees with various levels of performance. People are capable in different things. So you could see in that video, the teacher and the videos, she says, okay, you are very good in team working, but it says, so you are not very good in customer focus, but you are very good in teamwork. Same as in the Abigail's video, it is very clearly mentioned, okay, when you work with Nora, you worked well. It means when the employee is with flexible hours, she worked well. So likewise, you need to recognize how identify effective and ineffective. Where employee go ineffective performance. Where the employee go effective performance. The Abigail video ki द्वारा clear एक because once the flexible time is given, she works well. The performance is really effective. But when she was given tight schedules to work and tight schedules to come, attendance is compulsory and all, the performance was ineffective. So that thing also you should be able to recognize. Next one, reliable. So what do you mean by reliable? Consistent and free of error. Enter rater reliability. So here what you want to focus is being reliable is very important. Reliable කියන මොකද අපිට විශ්වාස කරන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා මේ performance management system එක. එක දවසකට එකක් තව දවසකට එකක් තිබ්බොත් we may not be able to be reliable on the system. Then we say those are measuring 360 this time, but maybe not in the next year. So likewise. So therefore, it should be reliable. We should be able to trust this performance management system. Consistent, free of error. Once it is consistent, let's say 360 method is always that you are using. It does not mean that you cannot change it. You can, of course, change the way, but it should be communicated for the employees. This time, this is the way we are going to measure your performance, right? Free of error. The thing, whatever you do, it should be free of error. Probably you are using a wrong technique, right? So what would be happening? A lot of errors. So then people would not be satisfied. People would be having a lot of employee voices, right? Issues, and a lot of things can happen. And inter-rater reliability. Inter-rater reliability means the one who is rating us should be reliable too, right? So the relationship between the evaluator and the evaluatee should be very much reliable and valid. When it comes to the point validity, if not we call it as, measures what is important, relevant. Once, if you could remember, I gave you an example. Think about a secretary to CEO. Secretary to CEO. CEO is secretary. When it comes to secretary to CEO, Probably she may be visiting few client visits and all, but that is not in her job description, right? So after few again and again, if she had to go for these things, she may say it is not in my job description. I can't go for client meetups. Then what will happen? In the next performance evaluation, the evaluator say, ඔයා මේ කියපු meetings වලට මෙහෙම client meetings වලට ආවේ නැහැ. You are not very much supportive for these things. So your rating will be down. So then you have the ability as an employee to ask, is this relevant to my job? Is this relevant to my performance evaluation? ඔයා මේ අදාළ එකකටද මේ මට ලකුණු අඩු කරන්න කියන එක. Because measures what is important. What is important is your task and duties, your responsibilities, right? That is why whenever you work for an organization, you need to ask a job description. සමහර වෙලාවට ඔයාට කෑ ගහන්න ඔයාට බනින්න ඔයාට අදාළ නැති දෙයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. That's for an example. Think about the manager is scolding at you. Why you have all these years, you have done this one, why you are not doing this one? Probably the manager is also doesn't know what is the job duties task that the person has been assigned with. එයා දන්න manager දන්නෙත් නැහැ. manager බයිනවා මේක කරේ නැහැ. අපි දන්නෙත් නැහැ මොනවද කරේ කියලා. That කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. That is why whenever an organization gets a performance evaluation, legally you have the right to get the job description. Then my job description, because I should be evaluated for my job description that I have been assigned, right? Otherwise you can't measure from which base you are going to measure me. There should be a base to measure me. So the base is the job description. So therefore it should be valid. Validity comes with this relevance. It should be relevant and not deficient. Doesn't measure unimportant facets of job. That's what it says. Not deficient. Doesn't measure unimportant facets of job. Job එකේ unimportant measures you are not going to go through with. Not deficient. And only measures what the employee can control. Only measures what the employee can control. Not contaminated. Not contaminated means the employee cannot control the organizational noise, or the employee cannot control the inefficient performance of the machines. එයාට ඒව control කරන්න බෑනේ. එතකොට අයියෝට මහන්න බැරි 100ක් because the machine is not supportive. So it should be valid. Right? It should be machine එක පරණ උනාට කමන්නේ ඔයාට 100ක් දෙන්න ඕන කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්ද? You can't say so as the organization. Because the employee also will not agree for the evaluation if you say so. So therefore, only measures what employee can control. What employee can control? He can control the commitment for the organization, the time that he is working for the organization, right? And the efficiency, effectiveness, productivity. He can, these things are measured. Attitude, skills, knowledge. That's what we are coming across with. And good versus bad performance management. So I'm not particularly sure whether I have shown you this video. If I have shown you, I'm not going to show you once again, but let's see whether this is a new one. Okay, so we'll watch this one. Let me share the sound. Okay. Watch this one very carefully. What is a good versus bad performance management?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, $696,000. No, I can't go any lower. No, that's the best we can do. Yeah, just 1 second. Sorry, just gonna put you on hold.
My office performance review. Let's go, buddy.
You didn't tell me you had a performance review.
I'm telling you now. Let's go.
Let me just get back to you. Yeah, just 5 minutes. Yeah, thanks. Come in.
Hi, it's our scheduled performance review, isn't it?
Absolutely, Emma. Come in. You're always on time.
Okay.
How's your morning been?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Excellent. Let's begin.
Alrighty, now let's go through last year's review and compare to this year. Second, wasn't that one anyway. I can remember it pretty much. It's fine. I just go off memory. So, as I recall,
Emma, look, we're really happy with how you've been performing thus far. You've definitely stepped up from last month. I think you were in an orange, but I think we should move that up to green. You deserved it.
Great, thank you.
Emma, we're really happy with how you've been meeting your objectives. It's aligning perfectly with the organisational values. You're a team worker, you're honest, you're quite excellent at what you're doing, so thus far we're really happy with how you've been. Do you have any questions for where we're headed and the role that you've been doing so far?
No, not at the moment. I mean, I keep up to date with my notes on there about everything that I'm doing, and obviously I can see your replies on the system anyway, so everything that I need to know month by month is pretty much there already.
okay, you completed your objective. Good. You completed the project on time. You went over budget. Bad.
Bad? Sorry, but there's nothing mentioned about budget in the targets there.
Yeah, but you did go over, so...
No, that's not how... No, excuse me,
me.
that's not how it works.
Listen,
It's
I've been
not-
working here for over 8 years now, okay? I know how it works.
Well, if you were working here for 8 years, then you know what to do.
I do know what to do, I'm doing it.
It was not in the outline there.
No,
It was not there, it was not listed.
But I'm sure I mentioned it somewhere. Go ahead, I'm going to give you a 2.
No. I wanted to also discuss your development plan and, how you think you're travelling with that so far. In regards to other skills, other areas that you'd like to learn more about, can you tell me anything about that?
If I'm honest, I'd quite like to be a bit better on Excel, so if you've got any courses on that, that'd be really helpful to me.
Brilliant. Emma, we really want to focus on your career progression here at the company. So any way we can help you out, we're more than happy to do so.
It is there.
Well, it's not there. I can
Sure,
clearly see
you
you
would've
don't
known
even
about
have
it.
anything on that
You would've
piece of
known
paper.
about it.
1 hour later.
So I'm going to put it as a 2.
That doesn't make.
As a 2.
I just said literally that doesn't even make any sense.
So I'll put a question mark then, and we'll leave it as that. And
What does
take
that
a look
even
at it
mean?
again
What is that
next
question?
year. So
All right.
we're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
You can go. All right, Stephen, you're up. Performance review.
Good luck, man. You're gonna need it.
Okay, right. So you could see when you come into a performance evaluation, it should be well organized. Well organized, you should have a proper time on that and a proper way. So you can see even he has not considered about what would be the marks and all, what he feels he is acting upon, right? So acceptable and fair. That's what it says, right? Whatever you do, your evaluation process, it should be acceptable and fair. So in the video, you could very clearly see the acceptable ways and the unacceptable ways when it comes to performance evaluations. So perception of disruptive justice, right? Work performance, evaluation received, it should lead to the reward. Once you do your work, then it should be evaluated well, then it should be leading to the reward. That is acceptable, right? And perception of procedural justice. What is the perception of distributive justice? What is the perception of procedural justice? So distributive justice in the sense. So for everyone, it should be like same in the sense as per the work, how he performed. The evaluation should be done and the reward should be rewarded. And under procedural justice, you can see fairness of procedures used to. What is the fairness of procedures used to? Determine ratings and link ratings to rewards. So what are the determinants to ratings and link ratings to reward? So you have to decide when you are going to give a rating for someone, how I'm going to give this rating, right? That's for an example, I have a standard on 100 pieces you need to sew. If you go beyond the 100%, you would be excellent. If you go near 90, you would be good. So likewise, the rating should be determined, right? And this rating should be linked to the rewards. If you go excellent and so then definitely you should be rewarded with something. If you are in the good layer, so then still you should be getting something like maybe a scope for a promotion or maybe something. And at least a career advancement plan. And if you are not at all, so that also should be looked upon by the organization. So the other characteristics of a good performance management system, inclusive. What is inclusive? Represents concerns of all involved. Represents concerns of all involved. When system is created, employee should help with design. Deciding what? What should be measured? How it should be measured? Let me bring management by objective method. As management by objective is a mechanism that we use to measure the performance evaluation. Management by objective. Management by objective කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? අපි කොහොම evaluate කරන method එකක් ඔය 360 method එක වගේ. There what we do, the manager says, okay, we have to go with 100 pieces. Then probably the employees agree. Okay, 100 is okay. Then it means what? Employee has given his contribution to decide what should be measured and how it should be measured. So probably then the employees may say, no, we can't go for 100. We'll go for 90. Then if the management agrees with that, okay, 90. Right? So based on that, you will be decided on what would be the rating. Okay, now because the manager CEO not pass employees are okay. Then you come into above 90, excellent. And 80 to 90, good. So likewise, then you can rate it very clearly. Right? Represents concerns of all involved. So once normally we are talking about when it comes to this performance management, all employees should be involved. Because we also like to do some sort of other idea. Other than going under someone else's orders. Implement So once the employee agree, okay, we will do. The union leader agree, okay. Then what will be do? Agree, we have to do this one, we have to do this one. So like that peer pressure is there. Right? So therefore, that is why it is important to get the employees' support when deciding what should be measured and how it should be measured. And employee should provide input on performance prior to evaluation meeting. So normally what it says, employee should provide input on performance prior to evaluation meeting, before the evaluation meeting, because once you go for the evaluation meeting, already you have been evaluated. Evaluate කරන්න කලින් ඒක නිසා මොනාහරි inputs දෙනවා නම් maybe about machines issues, maybe about maybe like what do you call service issues, right? Repair issues of machines and all. So you have to bring it before the performance evaluation meeting. Then the evaluators also can consider, okay, that this thing has happened, this has gone wrong. So we have to consider when we are evaluating the employees on this. So all these things should be inclusive and open. The performance management should be open, no secrets, right? It should be frequent, ongoing evaluations and feedback. Then සමහර වෙලාවට අපි ගැන feedback ගන්න ඒවා අපි ජීවිතේට දාන්න. ඒක රහසක්. It's a secret. It cannot be if someone has given feedback about you, you have to get the feedback and you have to see what has happened, right? So frequent and ongoing evaluations and feedback. It should not be a secret. You would be having ongoing evaluations. It should be frequent and feedback also should be given time to time. Normally, we do this performance evaluation method like maybe annually or biannually. Let's say annually. Then when you get a feedback for that one, if this is going to happen in the next year to check whether this has been practiced, කියපු දේ feedback එක කරාද බලන්න ආයෙ තව අවුරුද්දක් ඉන්න ඕන නම් it would be a huge problem. But in the evaluation එක විතරයි again ආපහු remind. It's not. Once today, if I have the performance evaluation interview with you, from next day onward, I have to give feedback. Okay, මේකද මෙහෙම කිව්ව විදිහට අපි මෙහෙම කරමු. මෙතන මේ improve වෙන්න ඕන. මේක හැදෙන්න ඕන. So likewise, feedbacks, ongoing evaluations and feedbacks are really important for employees because they get to know what to do and how to do things with. And two-way communications in appraisal meeting. So two-way communication in appraisal meeting. So that is also really important. How the two-way communication would be going on. That is why in every video you could see both parties discuss and they come into an agreement what they have to be done with, right? So they say their concerns, the managers say their concerns. So both vice versa will be giving suggestions to both sides. And clear standards and ongoing communication. Standard should be not a secret. Standard එක secret එකක් වුණොත් ඔක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නේ. සමහරලාට එහෙමත් organisation කියනවා. මොකක්ද achieve කරන්න ඕන කියලා කියන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි evaluation වලදී ලකුණු දෙන්නේ නැහැ. So the standard should be very clear what I have to be done, how it should be done. So that standard should be an ongoing communication. If you could see the Disneyland, what you can see the dresses that they are wearing, very difficult dresses. Throughout the day, they are working to make people happy. It is not an easy thing. Smile, taking into photos with difficult dresses like trees, Minnie Mouse with all the heads and all. It's not easy, right? But it would always, it gives a clear standard that we need to make people happy. When the standard is very clear, employee knows this is the thing that I have to do, how I should work on, right? Communications are factual and open and honest. So whatever the communication that you would be doing, it should be factual, open and honest. So you could, I witnessed with this Abigail's video, they were very, ultimately, Abigail also was honest. Okay, yes, I have had this problem. So, and so therefore I was getting this, what you call, flexi hours and all. So it should be factual, open and honest. Whatever the communication that we are doing with. බොරු හදලා අපි ලංකාව නම් එහෙම මට මේක කරන්න බැරි වුණේ මේක හින්දා එහෙම වුණා මෙහෙම වුණා අරයා මට වැඩ කරගන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ ඔබ so like a lot of problems can be coming across, right? So no secrets in open. So that's what it says. Ethical. This is a huge problem in everywhere when it comes to these performance evaluations and all. How much ethical the way what you do. That's for an example, think about, I am the supervisor, right? I favor one of the employees very much, right? So I give good marks, good rates for that person. For the ones I don't like, I'm reducing the mark. Maybe a person has a problem, right? So is that ethical? So this ethical problem is really there. So supervisor suppresses self-interest. Supervisor needs to suppress the self-interest. Self-interest he cannot go with work, right? Mama කැමති අයට වැඩිපුර දීලා මම අකමැති අයට අඩුවෙන් දීලා you can't do this one. So supervisor suppresses self-interest and supervisor rates only where she has sufficient information about the performance dimension. So supervisor rates only where she has sufficient information about the performance dimensions. You can rate a person if you know that rating criterion only. මම rate කරනවා නම් යාගේ communication skills වලට මම කවදාවත් එක්ක කතා කරලා නැත්නම් communication skills නැත්නම් how can I rate the person? If I have never seen how the person has worked with a team, how can I rate the person? So therefore, in order to rate a person, he should be having sufficient information. So if you could see in this principal teacher's video, she says, okay, in your performance evaluation, your self-performance evaluation. You have mentioned you have been the leader and all. So probably the manager has not seen how she's working with a team. Team එකක් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා කවදාවත් දැකලා නැහැ කියන එක තමයි ඒකිනුත් අපිට තේරුනේ. හැබැයි කියනවා but you have mentioned මෙන්න මේ team එකත් එක්ක වැඩ කරා කියලා self evaluation report එකේ වගේ තියෙනවා. So එතකොට ඒ project එක ගන්නවා. She knows the project. It was been a successful one. Then you have taken a very good leadership style. That is why the project has been successful, right? So likewise. So it should be ethical. Otherwise, it is not ethical if you do not know the things to get marking. You should not be that ethical. And supervisor respects employee privacy. Supervisor always should respect employee privacy. මම supervisor විශ්වාසයට අද දෙයක් ගිහින් කිව්වම හෙට මුළු ගමම දන්නවා නම් that would be a real problem, right? So therefore, even the counselors, there are some organizations, very famous organizations even. Sometimes the employees, when they tell some issues with these counselors, they tell it to all the friends, right? So so you should not do that, right? Because anyway, nothing is personal. අපි ගාය ගොඩාක් කැමති ශ්‍රී ලංකන්ස්ලා උපදූප හොය හොය ඉන්න. So nothing is personal. So therefore, where new gossip, news, ඔච්චර තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද? උපදූප හොයන්න කැමති හින්දානේ gossip කියලා page එකක්ම හදාගෙන තියෙන්නේ නේ. So it's like that. සමහරවිට ඔයාලට පේනවා මේ අනවශ්‍ය ඒවා තියෙන එක කිසිම රටකට වෙන දෙයක් ගැනක්වත් වෙන අලුත් දෙයක් හොයා ගැනීමක්වත් ඒ වගේ ඉම්පෝටන්ට් දේවල් නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. අර නිලියගේ මේකයි අර නළුවගේ මේකයි උපදුප තමයි වැඩිපුර තියෙන්නේ. Because people get satisfied with all the gossips and all. So likewise here the supervisor should not be happy with all the gossips of the employees. So the supervisor should respect the employee privacy. So that's really important. Otherwise, another employee will not trust the supervisor. And integration with other human resources and development activities. Now we were discussing all these things. Validity, reliability, acceptable fairness, inclusiveness, openness, right? So now we would be looking at ultimately the integration. There are few things I will coming into that one and I explain this before that. We discussed until openness, right? What do you mean by correctability? Correctability means the performance management system should be able to correct a person. Now you could see in the Abigail's video as well as in the teacher's video, it is very clear they were doing something wrong, right? But with the performance evaluation feedback, with the coaching, with the counseling that they are into, it should be able to correct the employee. So that is really important. Correctability, right? So the performance management should lead to not only evaluation. Do not mix up. Evaluation is only a one part. Performance management system comprises with how ultimately till the employee is developed and support for the organization. That's the whole process of performance management, right? So it can be rewarding, it can be disciplinary actions, it can be merit-based, right? It can be coaching, counseling, everything is there in performance management. Performance evaluation is the base part. That is why most of the time I'm taking performance evaluation. And so this system should be able to correct the employee. So evaluation එක කරාට පස්සේ හිටියටත් වඩා confuse වෙනවා නම් employee මේ දැන් මොකද්ද මට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ සමහර අය හැමනේ there are some theories and all we are good at that one. But after learning from some people we are really confused with now what is this. Likewise, the thing that we do under performance evaluation, it should be able to correct the employee, right? And standardization. What do you mean by standardization? There should be a standard, as I told you. You must adhere to that standard. මෙයාට 100ක් මහන්න කියලා අරයට 90ක් මහන්න කියනවා and there is no standardization. So therefore, every way, whether you evaluate skills, whether you evaluate measurable things and unmeasurable things very clearly. What are the unmeasurable things very clearly? Attitudes of employees. Meya kochchara loyal the organization. So likewise, there are sometimes we are coming up with attitudes little quite difficult to measure. We are measuring based on the perception, right, of what we have. So here, basically, other than to these attitudes and all, which is very difficult to bring up with the standard, you need to go with all the other objective things. Mahana pramanaya, sales vikunana pramana, the amount that the person is selling, the amount that the person is producing, the amount of lecture notes that she produces. So likewise, there should be standard. Standardization always gives the fairness for all employees, because it says, if you are a machine operator, every machine operator needs to sew 100 pieces per day. මම supervisor නිසා මම මෙයාට කැමති නිසා එයාට 80ක් මහන්න බෑ. Everyone needs to go for the standard. And ethicality, we discussed about how it should be ethical, right? So all these things I think we have discussed right now under the characteristics, right? So these are the characteristics. So the missing things I have explained right now. And the last one, integration with other HR and development activities. How the performance management is being integrated with the other things. Performance management provides information for what? What the performance management is providing information for? Development of training to meet organizational needs. Development of training to meet organizational needs. Not only you are measuring and evaluating and rating and keep the document aside. No, you have to develop the training. Make a වැඩි දියුණු කරන්න මොන වගේ training එකක්ද අපි කරන්න? You have to develop the training to meet organizational needs. Organizations having different needs. So in order to meet the organizational needs, what we have to be done. And workforce planning. It's important that you want to focus on workforce planning as well. As I told you, workforce planning can be qualitative or quantitative, right? And maybe both, most probably both, right? So the quantitative means what? How many people needs for each job, right? And what do you call this? Qualitative means what? The education, qualifications, knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Knowledge, skills, and attitude. Whether we have the right knowledgeable people, whether we have the right skilled people, and whether we have the right attitude with the people with right attitude. Recruitment and hiring decisions, as I told you. Now, once we do the workforce plan, we know now we don't have any good employee for being a quality assurance manager. So we need to recruit one. We need to hire one. We need to hire a HR manager. There is no one who is good at within the organization. So likewise, once we do the performance evaluation, we get to know what is the employee's level. Once we know the employee level, it's very much clear what we have to be done, right? How many people should be done, what is their quality and all, right? So this performance management, you could see it provides information for a lot of things, specifically in supporting the HR activities. Because anyway, performance management is a part of the HR activity. The HR management, the department is the most, what do you call, responsible department for this one. So other than to that. And development of compensation systems. So development of compensation systems, this is very important throughout the performance management evaluation. Because employees, you know, when their performance evaluations are coming, the employees are very much excited, right? They are running up with anxiety, very much excited, anxiety, because how we would be evaluated. ඒක නිසා කොහොමද අපි evaluate කරන්න කියන එක they are very much excited. Therefore, the company should know when we are developing a compensation system, it should be very much fair, very much fair, because people are always looking at the organization. If you do something wrong, the loyal employees will not be staying in the organization. And if you lose the skillful employees that you should be having up for your organization, it would be another problem. Because there are some organizations without these skillful employees, you do not have any long future. Right? So, therefore, you should recognize who are the most important employees for this organization. We need to keep them in order to retain this talent. We call it as talent retention. In order to retain the best talent within the organization, you have to develop a proper compensation system. Compensation system should be very much clear and fair. So if someone questions why this is happening, ඇයි යාට වැඩිපුර ලකුණු වෙලා ඇයි වැඩිපුර මට එන්නේ, ඇයි යාට වැඩිපුර බේසික් එක වැඩි උනේ කොහොමද යාගේ, how he is getting bonus, why I am not, how he is getting merit pay, why I am not. So in order to answer for that one, you should have a proper documentation, right? So that is why development of compensation system is really important and crucial in performance management, because these are done by HRD activities. HRD means what again? Come again. What is that? HRD means how we develop the employees, individual wise, then as a team wise, right? How we develop the employees. So that is why it says the performance management provides more information on development of training to meet organizational needs, workforce planning, recruitment and hiring decisions, and development of compensation systems. So all these things would be directly related to development of the HR activities. Developing of training. It is important because same training should not be working. අලුත් කරන්න වෙනවා training types අලුත් කරන්න ඕන generation එකට generation එක technology එක මාරු වෙනකොට this should be changing. So that responsibility lies with and it gives insights from the performance management and workforce planning, recruitment and hiring decisions, and as well as how to develop a proper compensation system. Okay, so these are the things that we have to discuss under this topic of this, what do you call, the performance management and HRD. So I will be more explaining what would be the most focal areas when it comes to the examination with the revision session at the end. So next week, I hope to give you the assignment. So make sure you are ready to listen for the assignment, because it would be important, because assignment marks would be directly included for your examination. So if you can get more marks from the assignments, there's nothing to worry. So have a good night. We'll see. So next week, again, I'm reminding I will be doing the assignment. So it's appreciated if you can join. Okay, thank you very much.